We have our activity leaders today, Maya Ichikawa and Andrew Ichikawa. We'll be talking about their sessions more closer to their activity time. We are so grateful for our collaboration with the Nikkei Memory Capture Project. And I'm not going to talk about it much because I think Darren's going to say everything that needs to be said about the project and his team. So Roland, I will let you start Zoom with Dr. Darren Aoki from the Nikkei Memory Capture Project.
Okay, Roland, just let me know when. Okay, all right. 皆さん、こんにちは。思い出の祭りへようこそいらっしゃいませ. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Memory Matsuri, the Festival of Memory. I hope you're looking forward to a fun-filled few hours of food, pictures, song, hopefully lots of laughter and conversation amongst friends. For those of you who may not know my colleagues and me, please may I take a moment to introduce us. I think they're in there somewhere in the Hondo. So first is Carly Adams. Carly, are you there? Do you want to say a few words about yourself? Okay, thanks, Carly. So next is somebody who I think many of you will be familiar with, Elaine Toth. Elaine, do you want to say a few words about yourself, please? Okay, thanks, Elaine. And then there is somebody who I think many of you'll know if you're a regular attendee of the Tonarigumi revival events, Sydney Rolfe. Sydney, do you want to say a few words about yourself, please?
Is that better? Yes. Okay. I recently graduated from the University of Lethbridge in December, so I recently just got my BA, but I'm also just happy to be here and be a part of the Nikkei Memory Capture Project as a research assistant, and just, yeah, I'm looking forward to chatting with everybody today. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Sydney. And last but not least, there's me. I'm Darren Aoki, and I'm co-founder and co-lead of the Nikkei Memory Capture Project with Carly. I'm associate professor in world history and oral history at the University of Plymouth in the United Kingdom, where I also live. My specialist research is in the history of Japanese Canadians in southern Alberta in the second half of the 20th century. When I checked the registration list this morning, I was excited to see so many familiar names, and it is with a real sense of sadness that I can't be with you in person today and enjoy all the fun things that we've got planned. I was so looking forward to meeting you and catching up, but due to some unforeseen events, it was just made it impossible for me to come. But I'm there virtually with you for the next few minutes, and I'll join you at the end of the Matsuri today. I'll explain a little bit about what today's event is, and then I'll also be with you in spirit, especially the food section. I so wanted to eat inari sushi with you, and I can't really get that here. ちょっと内緒だけど, Sheila's kindly offered to stash some food away in the freezer for me, so when I come to Canada, I can have some of this. Now, many months ago, Brenda, Roland, and I first spoke about their initiative to revive the Tonarigumi. I was so excited because at the center of their imagination for this amazing project, what really animates it is memory and reminiscence. And you'll have seen this in all the posters and invitations when it talks about a trip down memory lane. Well, for us in the Memory Capture Project, it's a no-brainer. Memory, that's right in the title of our project. That's what we do. And so it was without really any hesitation that we got involved in what has become such a great success. Brenda and Roland have so warmly and enthusiastically invited us into the events, and representing us has been Sydney through many of the different things that you've done. She's helped record things, take photos, curate those photos. She's helped with the memory cards, which she's going to explain a little bit more about later. I have to say, as a historian, reading the cards, they are just so full of amazing information. They're really rich. Now, over the past 7 to 8 months, I think you've been on excursions to pick strawberries. You're going to Waterton in a baseball game. You've watched films like Linda Ohama's wonderful Oba-chan's Garden. You've heard stories about cycling in the snow. You've pounded mochi, and you've played bingo. So today's Memory Matsuri continues that journey through memory, um, but we want to do something a little bit different with you. We're going to take a slightly different path down this memory journey, something that I hope you'll find a little bit special. So what is this, you ask? Well, we want to stimulate you by exploring our bodies with each other. Okay, that might sound a bit weird. We're not going to do anything strange. What I mean is the power of our 5 senses to spark things we remember from the past. So everybody, the 5 senses, what are they? Please shout out, what are they? Anybody? Sorry, I can't really hear you. but, I'm gonna just say it anyway. Okay, so our 5 senses obviously are sight, so we're going to see things with each other. There's sound, so we're going to hear things with each other. There's taste, smell, and touch, but not each other. This is where the Nikkei Memory Capture Project comes in. When we think of the senses as oral historians in academic jargon, this is actually called sensory elicitation. Put more simply, though, it is this. So I want you to imagine now that you're with a friend you haven't seen for such a long time and you're just chatting. O hisashiburi ni. You're having a good time, you're enjoying each other's company, and then you bring out a photo album. And as you start flipping through the page, as you look, you start reminiscing because the sights of all the photos you're seeing just bring back all kinds of memories. The fun things you did, the naughty things that you got away with. You then bring out some tea and the fragrance is now really stimulating your mind. You serve it maybe with mochi manju made according to one of the Fujinkai cookbooks. And suddenly you're talking about Mrs. Kawade. You then turn the page and you come across a paper ticket to the snowball dance at the Trianon Ballroom. You handle it delicately as if you were holding fine lace. It's so fragile. That's touch. And then you talk about what you wore, how it felt, who made it, where you bought it, what color it was, what you did with your hair, what jewelry you might have been wearing. Do you remember the fragrance of perfume, what songs you heard the Hakujin band play, or perhaps the smell of cigarettes? Possibly there was a faint aroma of alcohol that some naughty boy snuck a sip of, and maybe there's the billowing smoke from somebody's car whose muffler needed servicing. So that's what today's events are all about, all our senses. Now, I want to show you a schedule. Just let me share the screen here to get that up for you. Hopefully you can see this. There, okay. Hopefully you can see that. That's today's schedule. So at 11:45, we'll all move over next door to the multi-purpose room where our taste buds and sense of smell will be excited by food, inari zushi, and you can have a go at making this yourself. Roland and Brenda have set up a inari zushi making station, but be careful because if you rip the age bag when you stuff it, they're going to reprimand you. And then at 5 to 12, we've got a delicious lunch menu planned and made by Sheila and the whole Tonarigumi team. Then at quarter to 1, Maya Ichikawa, an art specialist, is going to invite you to see and touch things from the past, things of the ages, as she calls them. Do you remember your first car, a beloved pet, a toy, the first thing you bought from your first paycheck? Do you remember the feel of your grandfather's hands? When I think of that question, I remember my grandfather's hands. They were as rough as sandpaper. And you know what? They smelled of fish. Despite my grandmother telling him that he needed to wear gloves whenever he cut the fish, he never did. And that just sort of seeped into his hands. So that's an abiding memory for me. Then at 1:35, we'll all come back here into the Hondo where music specialist Andrew Ichikawa is going to take you through the sounds of the ages. So who was your favorite singer or band? What song just makes you want to get up and dance? What song brings a tear to your eye? And then we'll bring today's festival to a close at around 2:30. And just to say, I heard that there's some prizes to be won as well. Now, for your information, between each of these sessions, as you can see on the schedule here, there'll be time for you to take a comfort break. You can wash your hands, especially if you're working with inarizushi rice. So please, please don't feel rushed. Instead, relax, talk with each other, and above all, just have some fun. It's a matsuri after all. Now, just a tiny little bit of business. Why, might you ask, are Carly, Elaine, Sydney, and me, the Nikkei Memory Capture Project, here today? Well, with your permission, and as we've done all along with Sydney, we'd like really just to sit with you, listen, and learn how actually do you make inarizushi without ripping the age bag, and who taught you this deceptively easy skill. In other words, your memories, the stories that you tell of the past, combine to narrate the history of our community of Southern Alberta. And we're here to make sure that these things don't get forgotten. Now, most immediately, I'd like to make a short film after today's event, combining photos we take, some of the words that you might share with us. This will be a bit of a memento of today's Memory Matsuri, and it's our way of saying thank you for inviting us into a little bit of your lives. It's our way of really returning the stories. Now, Carly, Elaine, and Sydney, they're going to have a recorder with them, but don't worry, anybody, we're not interviewing, we're not doing anything formal like that today. Rather, again, with your permission, they may ask to record a special story or piece of knowledge that you've shared, and they'll capture some of the sounds of conversation along the way, again, mainly for the film I'd like to make. Excuse me. You have the right to say no if you prefer us not to record you. And of course, if you've got any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to ask Carly, Elaine, and Sydney. Now, just a couple of other things. When you registered earlier today at the front entrance, I think you were invited to sign a Nikkei Memory Capture Project consent form. Explicitly, this form allows us, our research team, to include and use information that you've shared today in our research collections. This information could become part of things like writing and exhibits that the wider public may access. So if you've been to the Nikkei Garden and if you've seen like our audio guide, our audio journey, our memory booth, these are the kinds of things I'm talking about. When you sign the consent form, you should also have received an invitation letter, and this gives you really the full details of our research and how we use this information. And again, looking at the registration list today, I think a consent form with us and will be familiar with this process already. Now, and this is really important, if you do not want to be recorded, please just let us know. We can then mark your consent form as null and void. We'll take it out of the pile and we won't use the information that you've shared. Carly, Elaine, and Brenda, after I finish speaking, if there's anything else that I've missed here, particular consent forms or anything about the proceedings, please would you just tell everybody this. Now, in just a moment, I'll end this greeting and we'll get on to the real business today of the Memory Matsuri. But after I do, I'll invite Sydney to tell you about the memory cards, which have become such a lovely fixture of the Tonarigumi events. Please take a moment to fill some of these out, and I think it's based on that we've got some prizes to draw for at the end today. I think that about covers it. Again, I'm so sorry that I can't be with you, but I wish you really a wonderful time. I hope you have a lot of fun, and that it's also a meaningful event today. So there's just one more thing for me to do. It is with real pleasure and a deep sense of honor and privilege that I declare 本日の思い出の祭り開催いたします. Today's Festival of Memory is now officially open. And that's it for me.
Okay, so I believe Sydney's going to talk about the memory cards next.
So I saw everybody made their way into the other room earlier, and if you were sitting at the tables, we had these little pieces of paper. I'm so far away and it's so small. But we had these pieces of paper, and they've got different colors on the corner, so there are 2 different questions, and then we'll have a third question later with Maya. And we just want you guys to read the questions and just fill out a memory. And write your name on it, because we'll put this into a bag, and later we're going to draw, and then you could win some prizes. So if that's of interest to you, and then if you do 1 for each question, you get 3 chances to win. So it's even better. So if you have any questions about the memory cards, I think for the majority, you have already filled one out or you've seen it before, but if you have any questions, just let me know. And as Darren mentioned, we do have little recorders with us, and so if we won't just turn it on and be like, we won't do that. But if you have a memory that you think is really special that you would like to share with us and you would like us to record, just let us know. And we can do that. And if you don't want to be recorded, no problem whatsoever. Just communicate with us what you'd like and what you need. And we're here for you today. So it's about you and what you want to share. So just communicate that with us, and we'll have an amazing day today. So thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. Okay, so let's get going. What I want to do is introduce the Inari Zushi section activity. This is a common family favorite in a meal. So what we've done, the Inari team has made 1 little inari for your lunch to go on the plate. If you want another one, you can make your own. If you really don't want to make your own, but you really want a second one, we will make it for you if you ask us to. And when you're making it, I want you to think about, would my mother or grandmother have passed this? Darren had said, would she be proud of it? And I don't think my grandparents or parents ever said they were proud of anything we did. It was just acceptable, right? Okay, so what's going to happen is the inari station is going to be in the hondo, set up close to the kitchen. There are 4 stations. When you go out to the meal, you can go straight to getting your plate from the kitchen window and you can eat. You can get up at any time to make another inari, whenever you want. That station will close at the end of the activity, and then we'll clean up for Maya's session after that. So things to reflect on, how much I made them a certain way, so you guys might have opinions about how I made them and what I'm presenting to you. So if there's anything different that you would have done in your family, then I'd like to know, and maybe I'll improve or change. Okay, so Roland's going to show a quick demo video about the section that you guys are going to do, and I pulled this off of YouTube.
Hi guys, it's Sora, and today I wanted to share how to make inari zushi, or what's also called oinari-san. So let's get started. So first of all, fill the pocket with some rice, and it's totally up to you how much rice you want to put in here. most of them would be filled about 3/4 of the pocket, so you can actually fold the bottom bit in, which makes it look very pretty, I think. Yep, so fold it in and there you go. But if you're keen to have a little bit more rice in it, go for it. That's what my grandma always used to do. She used to pack the pocket with some rice, so there was no space to really fold it in. But if you're keen to have a little bit more, that's the way to go. So that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.
Great. So that's the section that we're going to have at our station for you to participate in. So Sylvia, can you run and get Sheila for me, please? And while Sylvia's getting Sheila to talk about the menu, I just want to share one of Roland and my stories about inari zushi. I've got it written up on the table. It was from Roland's mom's memory, and she said that Grandma Ikuta, Roland's dad's mother, she made the best sushi in his dad's opinion, and his mom could never beat it. So she watched her make it one day, and she said that the secret was to put kombu in the water when you made the rice. And they also put sake in the ikutas, a 1/4 cup sake. So that's what I did for you today. But she said even when she got that tip, it wasn't working, so she asked her mother-in-law for more input, and she used to soak the kombu in cold water for at least 12 hours before they used it for the rice. And so I had little bits of kombu in the bottom of my bag, and I thought, oh, you can't put that in the rice, so I decided to soak it. So this kombu has been soaking for 18 hours, but she said the more kombu you put in, the better. So anyway, that's a tip from Roland's grandmother. So Sheila's coming, right? Okay, and Roland, maybe you can come up as well so we don't waste any time. And then after Sheila tells us what we're going to eat, then Roland will do a grateful meditation for meal, and we'll be good to go.
Sorry about that, you guys. Sorry about that. Better? When I was contemplating today's menu, I found myself just thinking back to dishes my mom used to make, and that they're dishes that I still like to eat. So hopefully you guys will enjoy them as well. And they're also dishes that traditionally or typically you won't be able to find at a restaurant here. Or in my mind, I've never actually gone looking, but it's stuff that you don't get every day or can't get every day. And so I'm hoping the dishes, although they might be a slightly different texture or a slightly different taste, or maybe the name is different, still will kind of evoke that memory of, oh, I remember this. Because even yesterday when we were preparing some of the dishes, a couple people said, I remember my mom making this, or, oh, I totally remember this taste. Or for those of you in the know, we opened up the konnyaku, which it's a gelatinous thing. It has a very fishy smell. And we opened it up and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. But we're feeding it to you guys today regardless. One of the dishes people were saying, my mom used to make that and she put mackerel in it. Again, not serving you mackerel, but just different things. So when you come up and you go through line, besides your inari zushi, there are going to be a whole bunch of little small tasters for you guys to kind of get, I guess, hopefully memories of your childhood or hopefully some memories of years gone by. There's going to be kimpira gobo, which is burdock root that's been fried with carrots in sesame oil, and it's just got a little bit of spice on it. Some of them you might not be able to taste it because I didn't want to go all full out on that. We also have shirae, which is when you take roasted sesame and you grind it together with brown sugar and miso, and then you throw tofu in and you grind it all together and you put vegetables in it. So it's kind of like a salad. We have something called shoyu potatoes. I'm sure that there's a whole bunch of different names on it. My mom used to always boil potatoes and onions in like a shoyu-based broth. I've added carrots in it just so there's a bit of carrot in it, or a bit of color. There's also black beans or kuromame that you'll be trying, which is traditionally served at New Year's, but the batch makes a lot, so unless you're serving it to a big group of people, you don't make it. We've also got cucumber and daikon namasu, which is kind of a cucumber and daikon salad, but it has a bit of that vinegar punch to it. So as you're eating all of these other flavors that might blend, it'll be just a slightly different flavor profile for you. And the other one, which was one of my favorites, is chawamushi, or tamago tofu, which we've made for you guys in the Instapot. Sorry, that is my phone. But we've done it family style. So whenever my mom used to make chawamushi, she did it family style. So she would do it in one of those big casserole dishes, and then we would just scoop it out. So that's what we've done for you guys. So it's not in those perfect little chawan, because I didn't want people filling it, and then heaven forbid we had to wash all of those. So sorry, you're getting it family style. And then instead of baking the kamaboko carrots and beans inside of it, we're just popping it on top. So a bit of bright color for you. And then for desserts, one of Brenda's memories is of broken glass of Jell-O. So after your lunch, we'll have like little plates of broken glass of Jell-O for you. And if you guys stay around for after all of the sessions and you want to just hang out and have some coffee, we'll have some other sweets for you guys to try out that, again, hopefully evoke some nostalgic memories for you. So hopefully you guys will all enjoy all of those tasters for you, a little bit of your nostalgic or some memories, hopefully, for you guys.
Thanks, Sheila. Burdock root. Where does gobo grow the best? I remember my dad, and I think Brenda's talked about it, right around the outhouses. That's where it always grows the best. And another story about burdock, I should keep going, but the prisoners of war from the Japanese, particularly in places like Hong Kong during the war, they got fed gobo, and they actually complained because they said, "You're feeding us wood, the bark of wood, of trees." So anyways, I'm going to get everybody to put your hands together, or bow if you would like. We are grateful for this food we are about to partake. We are grateful for all of the causes and conditions that have brought us together. We're grateful for the Tonarigumi cooking crew for putting this lovely meal together. Itadakimasu. Thanks very much, everybody. Have fun.
So everybody can make their way into the multi-purpose room, find a place to sit, line up and get your plate. Make inari zushi in any order you want.
Hi, Roland. Okay, I'll see you.